I'm Charlie Chase, and in 1998 I took a trip to Alaska, and this is my video of it.
Place it over your nose and mouth.
From Anchorage, we've taken a bus along Turn Again Arm of Cooks Inlet, where Captain Cook had to turn around again. Then we'll take a boat ride from Portage, Alaska to see some glaciers, and then back to Anchorage.
That piece actually broke off from below the level of the water here and shot, as you can see, it still is shooting back up. You might want to grab onto the side of the boat. You can see that there's a pretty sizable wake coming our way. The captain is steering into that wake. We're going to sail over.
We just got Daniel's breakfast. Chugach Mountain, Wasilla. Green Wreck Yard.
We've gone from Anchorage to Wasilla and clear up to Denali National Park, and from here on we'll take an airplane. After a plane ride in Denali Park, we've gone through Nenana and Fairbanks, and now we're going for a boat ride on the Tanana River.
One of the residential houses,
The mud bars on either side of the river.
Fairbanks.
And find out more about sod roofs, by the way, down at the Chena Indian Village. Interesting style of construction. That is a single season's growth of antler that you're seeing right there. They shed them every year, grow new ones. The males shed their antlers after the rutting season. The females shed usually in the spring after the fawns are born. The Yukon River, the two rivers come together and flow for another 1,000 miles to Bering Sea. People quickly adapted to the fact that it could catch literally hundreds of fish per day and change their lives forever. Dixie Alexander will tell you a little bit more about that when we arrive back here at fish camp on the way upstream. Like that. Now, cutting back on the power. See, the flaps are down. It's got lots of lift there. Probably doing about 36 miles an hour. Very speed. Down. Nice three-point landing. Come to a stop right at the bow of the boat. Now, that is an incredible sight to see. When he lets go, the dogs just take right off with a slingshot. They are just ready to run. They just love to get out, exercise. These dogs are born to run. Watch over by the guards. They'll come out right through the village again. You'll get to see them right past the front of the boat. Out on the trail, a sled like that would have hundreds of pounds of freight, survival gear, all kinds of equipment in it.
This was the Chena village on the Tanana River.
Large fur-bearing animal I'm holding now is the timber wolf, and actually this one's only medium size. They get larger than this, and the one we showed you, the sunshine ruff we showed you over at Dixie's, comes from a pelt similar to this. We also have the lynx here in Alaska, and it's related to the bobcat. It has very fat, furry paws that enable it to bound across the snow after prey without sinking through. Also common up here is the wolverine. Wolverine's a very ferocious and cunning animal, as Brenda told you. This animal's quite legendary. In fact, it's so ferocious and cunning, we're told if it were to cross paths with a bear, the bear would be the first to step aside to let it pass. We call him Chief in our language, which is Doyan. We have two varieties of the fox here this morning. This is the red fox. It's very soft, used in all types of clothing. And we have the silver fox, called that because of the markings on the lower part of its body. Both of these foxes are quite abundant here in the state of Alaska. These two are so similar in species they can be found in the same litter. Also are the ermine. These are wearing their winter coat, which is white with a black tip tail. In the summer, they're a nice chocolate brown. We also call them weasels. Alaskans have a nickname for them. We playfully refer to these as our Texas polar bear. Sorry, Texans. Ladies, you know what this is here. Mink, very good. Actually, it wasn't very valuable to the early Athabascans because of its very thin fur. It was only after the Westerners came along that we began to refer to it as our money pelt. This is my personal favorite. It's the marten. It's very, very soft. Mostly we use them to make marten hats, and it takes 3 pelts, one for the top, one for each ear, and the tail is left on for decoration.
The lynx, the wolf, the rabbit, and the white in between represent the ptarmigan dancing in the snow. Now the buttons on the chief's jacket come from cross sections of the moose antler, and the buttons on the maiden's dress come from caribou antler. And both of these garments are trimmed with beaver fur as well as dentalium shells. She's going to be putting on the sunshine ruff. You may want to get your cameras ready. This makes a great Alaskan photo. Oh. And the brown strip closest to her face comes from the wolverine. And the wolverine has a natural oil found on its fur, which prevents breath from freezing around the face.
Now she has to clean.
inside of an Indian village house. How's that for cabbage heads? Indian garden.
The Aurora Borealis. They just put new reflective tape on it a couple months ago. It's a beautiful green. Now it's turning orange and reddish.
From Fairbanks, we're going to North Pole, Chicken, Obrien Creek, then down the river to Dawson, Yukon, then on to Montague Roadhouse, Whitehorse, Carcross, then Skagway, Glacier Bay and Ketchikan, Alaska.
The largest Santa Claus that you'll ever see. Santa Claus stands 42 feet from head to base. He's made of fiberglass and he weighs only 900 pounds.
Alaska's state bird, the ptarmigan, may be a little bit hard to spell, so they just called the name of this next town Chicken.
This is downtown Chicken, halfway to Dawson on the Taylor Road.
And this was a relatively small dredge compared to the one that you'll be seeing in Dawson.
This is an old army base that and this is the barn they housed mules in, which all froze to death the first winter at Eagle. Wolverine.
Above water, so they can access the fish easier and don't have to get their hands down into the chilly water. You'll also notice at about 11 o'clock, another nice example of...
This is Moose Eye Village.
There was a large potlatch here just about 2 months ago. A large apple battery.
Downtown Dawson.
For a good prospect. A good prospect here before the gold strike, before the gold rush. But what they're doing there is using a hydraulic monitor, a high pressure water cannon. And they're washing the gravels off the side of the valley. And then when they wash them down, they'll process them.
This is the largest gold mining dredge in the world.
Creek, and there they rebuilt a new hull around the machinery. The rebuilt dredge then started work up Bonanza Creek in 1941, shut down right here in 1959. Time to shift your bucket line over 4 feet, right or left. Usually you're only doing that once or twice in an 8-hour shift.
This goes out on the tailings.
Clean Cocomatic puts the ripples back down and the dredge starts working again. 2 minutes.
This is where gold was first discovered in the Klondike. This is where they crossed the hills to get to the Klondike River. This is a trail, the Overland Trail came down to the bottom. Came right up through that gully. This is inside of the roadhouse on the end of the trail. Trees have already grown up inside.
Mainly composed of basalt. She may not stick around for too long. The wood bison on the right hand side. If one comes down a little bit, typically not found south of the Arctic Circle.
What do they do with the excess animals?
That's what they do with the excess animals. As I said, with some of the elk, they do release them. They can also sell them as breeding stock to other similar types of operations.
Well, you might notice that the color of the Skagway River is kind of greenish and murky. That's because it's fed by glaciers. Glacier ice will grind up rocks. Our last operating steam locomotive. They move it around a little bit, but that's where it was this morning.
This is caused by water, they're caused by pressure.
Watch yourself docking here. Surveyed the land and determined that there was a lot of mineralization, that the chances were good that there was gold in the area, and of course there certainly was, yet to be found.
Snowplow.
There's another touring company, and they just started here 2 years ago, and they got these from Yellowstone Park. So that's where you've seen them before.
Whoops. We got cold. Oh, that's wonderful. I didn't record it.
This is looking from the ship to downtown Skagway. All of 4 blocks by something like 14. Downtown Ketchikan. They're playing the band. Tram going up to them buildings.
We have a little under 15,000 people that live here. It is the fourth largest city in Alaska. Off to our left is one of the 3 salmon canneries left in Ketchikan. And the 3 canneries do can about 2 million cans each year. That's another way you can get off our island. They take cars and people. And was broke.
We're going upstream to Spawn and this is Totem Pole Center.
All the poles in the building are 160 plus years old, and they're carved out of western red cedar. We have 3 native nations in southeast Alaska. Then the ashes would be placed in a hole that's located right back here in the back of this pole. The pole depicts a man standing with a club in one hand and a sculpin in the other. Once the missionaries arrived, they discouraged a lot of our practices, some of our dances, some for ceremony.
Look at the salmon.
This is just we are docked in Vancouver, BC. Right, almost downtown.